Charlie, sit. 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 Good. Stay. Charlie, sit. Stay. Free. Free. Good boy. Charlie. I know, it's very hard when we're out here. Sit. So you can kind of get in front of him, scoot him gently away from the door, because that will help him be a little bit less distracted. And he's like, oh, you're there? I need to do something? What? Charlie, sit. As you can see, there you go. Stay. Whoops. Good. Stay. Free. Good boy. Very nice. Sorry about my puppy barking in the background there. I know that's really annoying. He hears I'm doing something with the dog and he's very excited. Okay, so I tend to hold Charlie's leash a little more than halfway down, so that he has about this much leash when we're walking in the city, on a sidewalk, around other people. I want him to basically stay by my left side the whole time, and so I don't want to give him so much leash that he's all over the place. When he's on a loose leash, it should be right by me. If he leaves, oh, good boy. If he leaves my side and goes around like this, I don't want him to have a ton of leash. And I also don't want it to be so loose that if he's right by my side, it's getting tangled by his feet. Totally normal. When we first step outside or first get him out of the car, he has about a minute of like this, like circling and being excited. And then he really settles down and he does very well. So I'm going to flip this so it's on, his right side. There we go. And now when he's on my left, you can see the leash is towards me. I do really like this front clip harness. Makes it so much easier to walk him because he's much more responsive to the pressure at the front of the harness compared to when he was on a collar and he was pulling quite hard. I've got my treats. I'm actually going to get them in a pouch and I'm going to move them to my other hip because I'm going to be holding the phone with my right hand. So then oh my god, get in my pocket. There we go. I want to have my treats ready to go in my left hand. What I'm using right now is it's not focusing. Kiwi Kitchen treats. They come in these chunks that you can break up into smaller pieces as needed, and it's actually a complete balanced diet. It's just air dried instead of baked at a high temperature like kibble is, and that's just why it looks different. It seems to retain more flavor compared to kibble, so dogs really love it. Charlie really likes this food. Okay, so now I'm gonna try to hold the phone and walk him and treat him at the same time. So I'm gonna start with getting his attention. Charlie, attaboy. Yes. I'm gonna hold the leash actually in my right hand, which I don't usually do, but I think it'll be better for right now. Okay, and then I can treat with my left hand. Really convenient for me. Good boy. So you see how once he kind of turns on or focuses, he's like, I'm ready to go. Whereas before he was like, we don't seem to be doing anything, so I'm just going to wander in a circle. And that's really normal. The more you practice, the more he will start to automatically check in with you. I do start with more frequent treats right at the beginning of the walk to get the dog kind of in training mode. And then you give them less as time goes on. So you can see like he stood there right by my side for a bit, and then he was like, I'm not sure if we're doing anything. And you refocus, he offered to sit all on his own, looking up at me, really nice. So Charlie, with me? Good. So with me just means like walk with me. And he shot ahead of me. Good boy. When he felt the tight leash, he turned around. I'm gonna bring him back to my side with me. Good boy. Yes. Reward him for coming back to my side, and we're gonna walk. We'll shake off. He just shake off while he's wearing the harness because he's still not totally used to it. Yes, good boy. So he doesn't need to be staring up at me, but you saw there that he was walking with me for a while. If he goes straight ahead, I'm always going to stop as the leash gets tight, and then I might wait for him to refocus like he just did there. Good boy. And then we can walk forward again. And he got distracted again, so I stopped. I might call him back. When I call him back, I might either get him to come back straight to my left side, like earlier, or I might, Charlie, this way, good boy, turn to my right so that he just automatically lines up on my left here. Yes, there we go. And when he was turning to the side, so air scenting, still being distracted, I waited, and when he falls in line and is walking nicely, yes, at my left side, that's when he has earned a treat. And this is pretty much it for leash walking with Charlie. You know, some dogs get more complicated protocols, but for him it's really this. When he's walking nicely, you give a treat. Charlie, good boy. Yes. So he's starting to drift, so I gave him a call before the leash actually got all the way tight. And then I said YES, but then I didn't get my treat out in time. And so he's like, I don't know what you're doing, lady. Come on, this way. Good boy. So reward when walking nicely. Yes, good job. Oh, that was good. And stop and redirect him when there's a tight leash. So I got really excited there because he had shot forward. The leash was just starting to tighten. Not quite enough for me to stop. He felt the leash tighten and he right away slowed down. And yeah, good job. He has been learning to do that. So not every single time. Here he's really distracted by a smell. So he's actually remaining at the end of that tight leash. Good boy. But when he is not extra distracted and his brain is kind of turned on a little better, then he will slow down as he feels the leash is starting to get tight. And I will reward him when at the beginning whenever he does that, and then we fade it out every other time, every third time, and so on. So let's walk back in this direction because I want to show you when he's less distracted what it looks like, and then we can try the more distracted again. It was just heading down my driveway into a beautiful sunset, and there's just lots of wildlife smells. This is actually, oh, good boy, nice. Yes, this is actually a bit more distracted than he has been lately. His last couple walks that we had were just so nice. He was really sticking with me like he's doing now. Oh, here we go. If he tries to cut behind me, that's another thing for you to know. I don't let him do that. He needs to stay on my left side. And yes, the way that I prevent him from cutting behind me is I'll just tighten the leash a little bit so that he tries to go, but he can't actually make it all the way behind me. Because I don't want him to wrap the leash around me. I want him to stay right by my side. This is nice walking. This is more what he's been doing lately. You could see he glanced up at me right before he shook. He's checking in. He's going, did I get a treat yet? And I say, not quite yet. Oops, I run my path there. Good boy. Yes, nice job. So the good boy was a little bit of encouragement, and the YES is, yeah, you did it. You're actually getting a treat right now. That's what we call a reward marker. Every time that you say the word YES, you do want to follow it up with a treat. Yes. I mean, there might be an occasion where the dog, gets distracted right after you say it, and then they miss it. But generally speaking, if you say YES, that means you got a treat. If you want to praise without giving a treat, you can use other words. You can say, good boy, what a good dog you are, look how handsome you are, anything in a happy tone. The YES means treat. And here he's walking a little bit at the end of the leash. He's not really pulling. He is adjusting his pace a bit to not be actively pulling against the leash. And so when he does that, I'm not going to reward it, but I'm going to let him keep walking. Just going in a circle here, around this tree. And there he got really distracted. So you could see he started pulling. He totally lost focus. When that happens, you stop going forward. Good boy. Come on, buddy. What's up? Let's go. With me. That was weird. Good boy. Yes. Nice job, Charlie. Nice job. So there you go. I said yes. He didn't seem to notice. His mind was elsewhere. I did still give him the treat once he stopped. Good. This is nice walking right by me. For multiple steps. Let me slow. Yeah, good boy. So I slowed down just a hair there, and he felt that, and he slowed down and checked in with me as well. One of the other things that's important about leash walking is to find the right pace. So I find I tend to go, yes, just a little too fast. What happens when I go too fast is that Charlie speeds up and he falls into this very fast trot. That is the next comfortable pace for him. It's kind of like gears in a car. There's a certain range at which each gear is comfortably propelling the car. And so if I go too fast and then Charlie speeds up, his comfortable trot is actually just a little bit too fast for me, and he will end up very quickly pulling on the leash again. When I catch myself and I slow down a bit, we can, yes, both walk at a more comfortable pace then. And he will be much more successful, and the walk is more pleasant for both of us. And it's a more reasonable thing to ask of him. Good boy, yes. So you can see here we're going along. He's doing quite well. When he checks in, when he slows down a little bit, I reward him. He's doing, I don't know, I know it's a little hard to tell on the camera, but he's walking like almost at the end of the leash where there's just a tiny bit of tension, but he's not actively pulling, and that is just fine. I'm just barely using any muscle power to hold the leash. Good boy. I'm going to slow myself down again, and then that slows him down. Yes, you can see he checks in. So we really want him to understand that the tightness, any tightness on the leash means slow down or come to a stop if I'm bringing you to a full stop, and check in. So right there I stopped him because he was starting to veer in front of me. And so that was a, hey, check in because you're not going the right way. Slow down a little bit more. There you go. I did a little stutter step. Yes, and he slowed down. I am rewarding him every time he fixes a mistake, right? So if you think of pulling as a mistake, then when I help him fix that mistake, he gets a reward. So for checking in, for slowing down. You want to also be giving lots of rewards for doing it correctly in the first place. So that means when he is walking nicely on the leash next to you, you really want to make sure that you are rewarding that. Otherwise, what you get is a dog that yo-yos. They go to the end of the leash, they stop and look at you, reward them, they go to the leash, you stop. You stop them, you reward them for stopping, they go to the end of the leash, and so on. So the way to not get that yo-yo effect is to reward him for walking nicely. So we just stopped a few times in a row because he was starting to really speed up, get distracted. So we are back to about the same spot. Actually, we're a little farther down the driveway than we were earlier. And this is once again just a very distracting area for him. Probably because of wildlife smells. And those he finds even more interesting than the city smells when we were going into Vacaville and when we went into Winters. So you need to change your good boy expectations, yes, depending on how your dog is doing. If they are really distracted, reward more often, give them more help. If they're doing really well, it's really smooth, you can reward a little bit less often. And eventually, your dog is going to do really well. It's all going to be really smooth in more and more places, and you'll fade out the treats when he is continually doing really well. Charlie is not at that point yet. Oh, did I say your name? Good job. He still needs you to reinforce the training and to fix it when he starts pulling. Good. Good boy. You can see his head is down. He's thinking about sniffing. Good boy. I have absolutely noticed that Charlie's eyesight gets much worse in the dark. He startles more easily. He is more likely to bark at something where he's not sure what it is, like barking at my neighbors walking by in the dark compared to the daytime. And it's harder for him to find the treat. So when you do give him a treat, especially if it's dark, you want to make sure you're bringing it right in front of his nose so that he can very easily locate it. Good job! He backed up off leash pressure. That's very nice. Let's go this way and head back towards the house here because it's getting pretty dark and we'll go work on some other stuff. Yes, so beautiful example of him walking nicely, watching me. I like that behavior. I'm going to reward it as he's doing it. There we go. Good boy. And I think he's lagging a bit here because he doesn't want to go back to the house. He's like, I want to keep going out. Yes. Very nice example of on our way back, The distraction is much lower. He is not pulling all around. At this point, he's fully in working mode, thinking about what we're doing and what he's supposed to do. Yes. And so he's just walking right by my side. He's like, I know, this is what you trained me to do. And this is what the walking eventually is going to look like all the time. But again, you have to sometimes adjust your expectations in high distraction environments. This is really lovely, though. Oh, he's speeding up a little bit. Good boy. Nice job. So I did a little stutter step, and he immediately was like, oh, right, slow down. Yes. That was a nice long stretch between treats. I had to help him fix it once, but he was nice and focused. And I move the camera a little bit so you can see how his tail is wagging. He's a very happy boy. Now he sped up. I'm gonna bring him to a stop. Gentle pressure on the leash. He reoriented. Here, Charlie. So what I just did to get him back on my left side is drop my hand, bring it to my left side. Yes. To encourage him to come back to that spot. He sped up again. Says I'm catching some good smell. Good boy. Yes, good boy. Nice job. Easy. Easy, good boy. He hasn't actually been trained what easy means. It just tends to kind of come out of my mouth. It's more about the leash pressure and the tone of my voice rather than that exact word in this case. Same actually with me, where it's like this encouraging tone. Yes, more than the specific words I'm using. Look how dark it's getting. Oh, cool, we got some security lights. And we're about to go back to the house. Good job, buddy. Let's take a break from leash work.